Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Vayera. Demographics are always a nerve-wracking topic among Jewish people. As we watch the Jewish people's numbers dwindle, we feel the debilitating effects of intermarriage and assimilation. We fret over rising Arab population numbers in Israel and wonder how an increasing Haredi population will affect Israel's future. Our fears beg the question, how big of a role should demographics play in the future of the Jewish people? Demographics play a role in this week's Torah portion. After Avram passed God's test and is willing to sacrifice his son Yitzchak, God blesses Avram. I will bestow my blessing upon you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars of the heaven and the sands of the seashore, and your descendants shall seize the gates of their foes. The Chizkuni explained God's promise that Avram's children would be like the sand and on the beaches of the sea came true during the reign of King Solomon of Shlomo HaMelech. What was the Chizkuni referring to? In the book of Kings, in Melachim, we read, God endowed Solomon with wisdom and discernment in great measure, with understanding as vast as the sands on the seashore. Shlomo controlled the whole region west of the Euphrates, all of the kings west of the Euphrates from Tifsha all the way to Gaza, and he had peace on all his borders round about. All the days of Shlomo, Yehuda and Israel from Dan to Beersheba dwelt in safety, everyone under his own vine and under his own fig tree. Shlomo HaMelech said, your servant finds himself in the midst of the people you have chosen, a people too numerous to be numbered or counted. And it seems from these verses that God's promise came true. Yet, as the Jewish people stood on the mountains facing Israel, those mountains right there, Moshe told them, God did not choose you because you were more numerous than other nations, for you are the fewest of all the nations. How could Moshe say that the Jews would always be in small number when God promised that they would be great in number? In the laws of accepting a convert, we find a different interpretation of Shlomo's time. The proper way of accepting a convert, the Rambam wrote, is when a prospective convert comes, we inspect his motives for conversion. Perhaps he's coming for the sake of financial gain. If we find no ulterior motive, we inform them of the heaviness of the yoke of Torah and the difficulty the common people having in observing it, so that they will abandon their desire to convert. We don't want converts. If they accept this introduction and do not abandon their resolve, and thus we see that they're motivated by love, we accept them. For this reason, the Jewish people did not accept converts throughout the reign of Shlomo. Why? Because they feared that they were motivated by prosperity and eminence which Israel enjoyed. The Chizkuni explained that Moshe called the Jews the smallest of the nations because he was contrasting the Jews with the 7 nations they would be fighting in the land of Israel, right here. God would lead the Jewish people to victory even though they were small in number. The promise to be great in number that we find in this week's Sedra doesn't refer to population and census. It refers to the Jewish people's providence. While prosperity isn't a treasured value for the individual, when the Jewish people experience prosperity, it is a reflection of God's providence and the Jewish people standing in God's eyes. What an incredible lesson for this week's Sedra. What an incredible lesson to teach right here where the Jewish people heard it firsthand from Moshe. This is just an incredible Dvar Torah to be able to teach, and hopefully that you were able to learn. Shabbat Shalom.